Story 1. The man behind the door. I was in my mid-20s, working nights at a small pizza shop that was open 24/7. It wasn't anything fancy, just a few tables for dine-in and mostly takeout and deliveries. To be honest, the food wasn't even that good. The main draw was that we stayed open all night, which meant we got our fair share of late-night drunks and oddballs. I usually worked alone during the night shifts, and I actually preferred it that way. The food wasn't complicated to make, and when things were slow, I could just sit in the back, scroll through my phone, and kill time. This night started off like any other. I came in at 9 p.m, took over for the day manager, and got everything prepped. Being a Tuesday, I expected a slow night. A few customers trickled in over the next couple of hours, but after that, silence. No walk-ins, no calls, not even a delivery. I sat in the back kitchen on a chair, glued to my phone. Then, at around 1 a.m, I heard the bell by the front door. It rings every time someone opens it. I got up and went to check. But when I reached the counter, the room was empty. Nobody was there. I scanned left to right. Nothing. I laughed to myself, thinking maybe my brain was just playing tricks on me. I went back to the kitchen and didn't give it much thought. 15 minutes later, ding. The bell rang again. This time, I knew I wasn't imagining it. I hadn't even been watching a video. I rushed out, but again, nobody. I checked the sidewalk, the parking lot. Dead empty. I tried opening and closing the door myself to see if it would ring on its own, but it wouldn't. I stayed up front for a while, maybe 30 minutes, waiting to see if it would happen again. But it didn't. So I eventually went back to my chair. In the kitchen, it was between 2 and 3 a.m, always the slowest part of the night. And of course, not 5 minutes later, the bell rang again. I stayed in the back, this time calling out, "Hello? Is someone there?" No answer. Just silence. At this point, I gave up trying to make sense of it. I figured something was up with the door, and I just kept scrolling through my phone. Another hour passed. 0 customers. Just complete silence. At 4 a.m, I got up to prep for the morning shift and started counting out the register. But something felt off. I kept glancing up at the empty dining room and then back at the dark kitchen behind me. It felt like I was being watched. Like someone was there, just beyond my vision. And then I heard a thump. A heavy boot hitting the floor behind me. I spun around and froze. There was a man standing only 5 or 6 feet from me. His clothes were black, torn, ragged. A hood drooped low over his face, hiding everything except his bloodshot, hollow eyes. And in his left hand was a knife. He just stared at me, knuckles white as he gripped the blade. He didn't say a word, didn't move, just stared. I barely breathed. Then I spoke, as calmly as I could. "Hey, listen, you can have the cash. From the register. I won't say anything. Just please, let me go." But he didn't react. He wasn't drunk. He wasn't high. He wasn't normal. And then I realized I couldn't run out the door directly. The counter was L-shaped. To escape, I'd have to run toward him, around the counter and past him. So instead, I dove over the counter. I crashed to the floor hard, but I didn't wait. I scrambled up and ran. The man was already sprinting at me, his face twisted with pure rage. I burst out the door, heard him behind me, too close, and I didn't dare head for my car. It was parked behind the building. No way I'd make it, so I ran to the street, praying for someone, anyone to drive by. Eventually, the footsteps behind me stopped. I didn't know when. I never looked back. I called the cops and waited. They got there in about 5 minutes, but the man was gone. Apparently, after chasing me, he went back inside and trashed the place. He even scraped his knife along the side of my car before vanishing into the night. Police said he probably had been watching me for hours through the windows, maybe even inside the building, hiding for over an hour. And the doorbell? Just a trick, a distraction. They never caught him, and I never worked another night shift again. Story 2. The forest fire trap. A few years ago, I was juggling 2 jobs to save up for a condo. By day, I worked a regular 9 to 5. By night, I did food deliveries for extra cash. Some weeks, I'd end up working 30 extra hours just delivering. This particular night started off well. I grabbed dinner around 6:30, then got on the road. Orders were steady, tips were solid. I should have called it a night around 10 p.m. But I got greedy. I kept driving, waiting for one last perfect order to cap things off. Around 11, I finally got it. Almost $20 for a 15-minute drive. Seemed like a great way to end the night. I picked up the food and headed out. The roads were dead quiet, but something was off about the route. It led me toward a forested area I didn't even know had homes. I double-checked the GPS. Everything matched. Eventually, I turned onto a gravel road leading into the woods. Up ahead was a gate, just 2 stone pillars with a chain hanging between them. Only the chain wasn't up. I drove through, headlights struggling to light the path ahead. Then I reached a small parking lot. But there were no houses, just a forest preserve sign. Before I could figure out what to do, my phone rang. It was the customer. His voice was deep, gravelly, almost hard to understand. He asked if I could see him. When I said no, he explained he and some friends were camping down a trail, and I should see a campfire if I walked a little closer. I hesitated. I even asked, "Aren't forest preserves closed at night?" He said, this one allowed overnight camping on certain days. I wasn't outdoorsy, so I didn't know any better. I got out, took the bag of food, and used my phone as a flashlight. There was only one trail leading into the woods. I followed it. Silence surrounded me. Not even voices from the supposed group of friends. Just crickets. Then I saw it. A flickering orange light in the distance. A campfire. Only, it wasn't on the trail. It was deep in the woods, and there were no tents, no people, no chairs, just the fire, burning, alone. Then, snap, a stick broke. Someone was out there, standing just outside the fire's glow. I barely whispered, "What the hell?" before I called out, "Hey, I'm the delivery driver. I'll just leave your food right here." I placed the bag on the ground. That's when he stepped into the light, tall, dark hair, scruffy beard, same gravelly voice as before. He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. Something about him felt wrong. He claimed he didn't see me approaching, apologized, but why would he wait to come out until I was already there? Why had he been hiding? I backed away, stumbling over my words, and then I just ran. He shouted behind me, way too friendly, saying he had cash for me, but I didn't stop. I made it back to the car, fumbling with the keys, hands shaking. Finally got. It started, threw it into reverse, and then slammed on the brakes. The chain was up now, blocking the exit.